What if I told you Puerto Ricans don't just eat food? We eat moments. We eat weather. We eat traditions. We eat memories. If it's raining, there's a food for that. If it's Friday, there's a food for that. If you're hungover, oh, trust me, there's definitely a food for that. And if you've ever spent time in Puerto Rico, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because here, food isn't just about being hungry. Food tells you what day it is, what time it is, and sometimes how you're feeling. Today, we're taking a journey through Puerto Rico, one meal at a time. Not through restaurants, not through recipes, but through the unwritten food rules that every Puerto Rican understands, even if nobody ever taught them. Hola, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chronicles and Cocktails. I'm Josue, the spirited historian. And today, yes, today we're talking about something every Puerto Rican understands, but very few people ever stop to think about. In Puerto Rico, we don't just eat food. We eat according to the weather. We eat according to the day of the week. We eat according to traditions, routines, family gatherings, and sometimes even hangovers. And today, we're going to travel through Puerto Rico one meal at a time. And we're not even going to talk about holiday foods in this episode, but all the unwritten, unofficial laws that make Puerto Rican food culture so unique. But before we begin, if you missed last week's episode, be sure to check it out. We spent 6 hours exploring Old San Juan in a simple and efficient way, perfect for cruise ship visitors and travelers who don't have a lot of time, in one of the most historic cities in the Americas. We covered forts, churches, plazas, city walls, local history, and some great places to eat and drink. So when you're done with this episode, go check it out. And this week, we also have a Wednesday episode. I recently visited the town of Atillo, where I attended the Canary Islands Heritage Festival. And we're going to talk a little bit about our Canary Island ancestry and the influence the Canary Islanders had on Puerto Rico. So stay tuned for that. And so you don't miss any future episodes, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss an episode. We now have more than 70 episodes on the channel covering Puerto Rican history, food, travel, culture, cocktails, hidden places, and fascinating stories. So take some time and explore the channel. Oh, and don't forget to like this episode. Go ahead. Like it. I'll wait. Yeah, thank you. Now, let's get into today's episode. You wake up in Puerto Rico. Maybe you're in San Juan. Maybe you're in Ponce. Maybe you're up in the mountains of Utuado. Doesn't matter. Because within about 20 minutes of waking up, you're already thinking about coffee. And bread. Not Starbucks, not a drive-through, a panaderia. A Puerto Rican panaderia isn't really a bakery. It's part bakery, part coffee shop, part town hall, part gossip center, part political debate, part family reunion. Everything happens here. The retired guys are talking politics. The construction workers are grabbing breakfast. Somebody is discussing baseball. Somebody else is discussing why the government is ruining everything. And somehow, everybody knows everybody. Now, if you're new to Puerto Rico, you're going to hear two words immediately. Pan de agua, pan sobao. Pan de agua has a crisp crust and a lighter interior, my favorite actually, especially for savory sandwiches. Pan sobao is softer, richer, fluffier, my wife's favorite. If Puerto Rico had an official smell, it might honestly be fresh pan sobao at 6 in the morning. And if you smelled it, you know exactly what I mean. One thing surprises a lot of visitors. Puerto Rican breakfasts are actually pretty American style. I've traveled around the Caribbean, I've traveled around Europe, I've traveled around the United States and Canada. Some places eat beans for breakfast, some eat blood sausage, some eat meat we'd normally think of as lunch. But Puerto Rico? Eggs, bacon, ham, pancakes, French toasts, breakfast sandwiches. Very familiar, right? But then we Puerto Ricanize it. You might see sorullitos, pastelillos, empanadillas, rellenos de papa, and this is more home cooked. But one of my all-time favorites is tortitas de maíz, especially the ones my mom makes. I remember when I was a kid, on Saturday mornings, turning on our small orange TV, very 1970s style, watching morning cartoons and enjoying a big bowl of tortitas. My happy place was Saturday mornings with tortitas and Tom and Jerry. No doubt about it. Also, we like sweet breakfasts. Pan de maíz, donuts, pastries. Yes, we can eat that in the morning, and of course, those creamy breakfast cereals. Avena, farina, cream of rice, cream of corn. Walk into almost any panaderia on the island and you'll find at least two of those every day. Around 11 o'clock, Puerto Rico changes. Breakfast is over. Now we're getting serious because in Puerto Rico, lunch is king. Lunch isn't a meal, lunch is an event. This surprises a lot of visitors. In many parts of the mainland US, dinner is the big meal. Not here. Historically, Puerto Rican workers were farmers, coffee workers, sugar workers, tobacco workers. People working long days under the Caribbean sun. You needed fuel, real fuel, and that tradition never disappeared. This is why Puerto Rican lunches tend to be heavy. Rice, beans, viandas, carne guisada, bistec encebollado, pollo guisado, pollo frito, fricasé. Ah, it's comfort food. It's working food. It's food that says, you've got half a day left. Let's keep going. This is a cafeteria. Fast, affordable, local. And this is a fonda. Homestyle cooking, grandma style cooking. The kind of food where somebody's recipe has been around longer than the building itself. Then comes Friday, and Friday has its own rules. Rules that go back centuries. Puerto Rico was overwhelming Catholic for generations. And Catholics traditionally abstained from meat on Fridays, especially before Vatican reforms. That tradition shaped our food culture. Even today, you'll find restaurants, cafeterias, and fondas offering fish, especially every Friday. One of the classics? Serenata. Salted codfish, usually served with boiled viandas. What are viandas? Yuca, ñame, batata, yautía. Simple, comforting, delicious. And then, of course, bacalao guisao. Another Friday favorite. The funny thing, a lot of people eating it today probably aren't even thinking about the Catholic tradition anymore. They're just eating what Friday tastes like. Now, let's talk about one of Puerto Rico's strangest food laws. A law nobody wrote, but everybody follows. Rain means soup. I don't know who decided this. I don't know when it started. But if it starts raining, somewhere, some Puerto Rican abuela is already making asopao. Asopao de pollo, asopao de jamón, asopao de gandules, and then the king, sancocho, a hearty stew with roots in Spanish and Canary Island traditions that evolved throughout the Caribbean. Rain hits that zinc roof, the temperature drops a few degrees, and suddenly everybody wants soup. That's Puerto Rico. And of course, here, rain levels up. We're in the tropics. We are in Hurricane Alley, right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean bordering the Caribbean. So what does that mean? That at least one tropical storm will hit Puerto Rico at least once a year. And because of that, there's hurricane food. And hurricane food deserves its own category because the hurricane isn't even near us yet, and somehow the corned beef y la jamonilla is already gone. We make sancocho and we buy canned food. Oh yeah, sancocho con pan. Delicious bread from the panaderia, because there's a panaderia in every corner. 2 or 3 pounds should be sufficient for 2 people. Jamonilla, corned beef, salchicha, crackers, galleta, ¿verdad? And queso de bola. Yeah, that red wax-covered Dutch cheese that somehow became part of Puerto Rican identity. And then the power goes out. Because it does. People cook outside. Neighbors share food. Someone brings a giant pot. Someone else brings bread. Suddenly, the whole block is eating together. A beer is opened somewhere. A hurricane can be frightening, but it can also remind us who we are. Okay, then comes one of Puerto Rico's greatest inventions, picadera. And no, it's not really appetizers, and it's not a real full dinner either. Picadera is social food. It's what you eat with friends when you're having a beer or 2 or 3. Alcapurria, bacalaíto, empanadilla, sorullito. You order 1 beer, then somehow there are 14 fried things on the table. Bolitas de mofongo, pastelillo, carne frita, chicken wings, tostones, better if they're made from mapeng. Nobody knows how it happened, it just happens. That's the law. This is chinchorreo culture. Driving, stopping, eating, talking, laughing, listening to music. Then driving to the next place and doing it all over again. So today, we're doing something different. Because today's episode isn't really about cocktails, it's about Puerto Rican food culture. So today's drink is something just as Puerto Rican, a Medalla Light. Medalla was first introduced in Puerto Rico in 1979 by Cervecera de Puerto Rico in Mayagüez. Over the decades, it became more than just a beer. It became part of Puerto Rican culture. Beach days, barbecues, baseball games, chinchorreo, fishing trips, family gatherings. If you spent any amount of time in Puerto Rico, chances are you've seen a cooler full of medallas somewhere. It's light, it's refreshing, perfect for the Caribbean climate, and honestly, It just feels right for this episode. So here's to Puerto Rican food, Puerto Rican traditions, and Puerto Rican memories. Salud. Refreshing. Let's go back to the episode. Saturday actually starts Friday night. You got paid, work is over, the beers are flowing. Maybe a Medalla, maybe India, maybe a beer more regional, or maybe even something stronger. Next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning. The sun is coming up, and you have made several questionable decisions. Then Saturday morning arrives. You need water, you need coffee, and you need mondongo. Whether it actually cures a hangover is scientifically debatable, but Puerto Ricans believe, and that's enough. And then you order a beer because you're gonna do it all over again. Saturday is also pollo asado day, especially the old charcoal roasted kind. That smell. Man, that smell can stop traffic. It's one of my favorite smells. Pan de agua, yuca, ñame, batata, malanga. A piece of chicken, a piece of bread, another piece of chicken, a cold drink. That is happiness. And finally, Sunday, the biggest meal of the week, or at least it used to be. People go to church in the morning, then visit family, visit abuela, and somebody is cooking. Always. Pelín, arroz con gandules, which is more festive than the everyday arroz con habichuela. Fricassé of all kinds, rabbit, goat, guinea, duck, chicken, seafood, mofongo, carne mechada. My mom's carne mechada is the best. And one of my favorite, carne frita con ñame. No question. The menu changes, the tradition doesn't. Sunday lunch is about family, not food. The food is just the excuse. Okay, let's get something clear. Coffee isn't breakfast in Puerto Rico. Coffee is all day. Morning coffee, lunch coffee, 3 o'clock coffee, after dinner coffee, evening coffee, night coffee. Most people drink café con leche. I don't. I drink mine black. No sugar, no milk, nothing. But regardless of how you drink it, Puerto Rico runs on coffee. Literally. Yeah. Coffee isn't a beverage. It's a schedule. One of my favorite moments in Puerto Rico happens after dinner. Later after dinner, especially in the mountains, Utuado, Jayuya, Adjuntas, the temperature drops, the fog rolls in, and suddenly the food isn't over. You see your abuelita taking out the pan de maíz, las cucas, pan sobao, butter, hot chocolate. But my wife makes hot chocolate from a recipe her abuela taught her. I know the recipe, you don't, and that's staying that way, a state secret. My abuelita will take out the cucas, the bread, the queso de bola, las galletas ricas. Remember those? A cool tropical breeze at night, the TV playing in the background, abuelita moving from one side of the kitchen to the other. Hot chocolate, fresh bread, pan con queso de bola, which I've mentioned a lot. And the queso de bola has been in Puerto Rico since the 16 and the 1700s. We used to get it in contraband from the Lesser Antilles. And then it became the tradition, especially at night, and later for the hurricanes. The mountain air, somehow it tastes better at night. And somehow it tastes even better when you're surrounded by family. Puerto Rican food isn't just recipes. It's timing, it's weather, it's routine, it's family, it's memory, it's music, it's rainstorms, it's hangovers, it's Sunday afternoons, and in Puerto Rico, people don't just ask if you've eaten. They ask what moment you're living, because every moment has a meal. Every meal tells a story. Alright, so what do you think? What are some Puerto Rican food traditions that I missed? What foods remind you of home? What foods remind you of your abuelitos? What foods remind you of rainy days? Sundays, hurricanes, family gatherings, or childhood? Let me know in the comments below. I read and I answer most of them. And remember, we have a Wednesday episode coming this week, so be sure to look for it. We're heading to Atillo and talking about our Canary Island roots. Thank you for watching. Have a great Sunday. Go out, get outside, see Puerto Rico, travel the world. Be good, be nice, get smart, read a lot of books, have a cocktail or two. Don't overdo it, subscribe, and since it's Sunday, go to church. And of course, salud.